Hi, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Summer School. Today, we're going to be talking about all things lighting and using your available light and maybe some lights that I use when I use flash. I'm just going to be literally rambling because we just shot a super fun wedding out in Colorado. And personally, I feel as though the way that I used the light at that wedding was so good. I'm not just trying to hype myself up, but thinking back about beginner Summer and how she used light and the ways that she shot were honestly just not that good. And if I can prevent any of you from shooting that way and maybe adapting to some of the techniques that I use today, I would love to do so. But first, let's go over some life updates. I haven't had a solo episode in quite some time, or maybe I literally did and it doesn't feel like, since we traveled all the way to Colorado and back, I feel like I haven't talked to you guys in a while about what's going on in my life. But currently, Georgia is over 4 months old. We are through the infant phase. She's now just a baby, and she's gone on like 2 or 3 flights. We fly out again next week, all the way to the East Coast. And yeah, Georgia is a boss. She's been traveling for all of our travel weddings, and it's been going really well. We've not only been traveling with like 40 rolls of film, but also with a baby and milk. I am still currently breastfeeding, which is crazy because with the career that we all have that are listening, being in the event space and weddings specifically, doing most of our packages are a minimum of 12 hours. It's kind of crazy to be breastfeeding. The last wedding, I literally pumped in the car while driving from the ceremony to reception. So it is a wild time being a mother, but it's all going well. She is the cutest little big chunky baby. And so far, we're doing it. I don't know. I think thinking about parenthood quite a ways back was terrifying when we were pregnant as a business owner. And yeah, we're doing it. So if you have any questions or you happen to be pregnant or you want to have a baby as a wedding photographer or vendor, definitely hit me up, DM me. I'm always down to chat. But it's been a crazy time. Outside of that, we're still living in LA. I don't really know. I'm like personal life updates. Oh, I bought a DJ like controller board, which is really fun. The wedding we just shot last weekend, the DJ that was DJing was actually so talented. And I recognized I don't even know if they're called boards or controllers, which is funny because I bought one, but I recognized the controller board that he was using. And I was like, wait, I think that's the one I bought. And I asked him and it was. So that's cool. He told me that it's a great one to start on, and even him as a pro, he loves DJing on it, so that's really fun. DJ Summer G is coming at you guys. But yeah, I bought a DJ board or controller. I don't even know what you call them. I don't know what I'm doing, but I just really wanted a hobby. I feel like becoming a parent, my identity and time has been very much so photographer, educator, and mother. But I really just wanted some sort of hobby that had nothing to do with those 3 things, so that I could just challenge myself to be creative and have some fun. So DJ Summer G is here, and I haven't even had time to unbox the thing, whatever it's called. Haven't had time to unbox it yet. So I haven't even had time to try to DJ, but that is some life updates. I am going to teach myself how to be a DJ via YouTube University. So it's going to be a good time. And for anyone listening, when you're thinking DJ, I'm not trying to be a like wedding DJ. When you think DJ and what I'm trying to learn, I love just turning on DJs on YouTube that are like DJing some house music on a rooftop at sunset and just like vibing. That's the kind of stuff I love. So that's the kind of stuff I would probably love to DJ. Me and Jake also love like Rufus Du Sol and Tejo and some different like EDM artists, so electronic artists. So yeah, I want to DJ kind of like that type of world, not wedding, birthday parties, things like that. No. So, I mean, there are some cool DJs that DJ weddings that actually like DJ a set, which I think would be so cool. One of my couples, you guys should do that. But I'm not trying to like do, events or anything like that. I'm just trying to have fun, maybe have parties with my friends. So, yeah. Now, let's dive into lighting. But before we dive into lighting, I actually need to tell you guys about one of my favorite softwares. Before we dive into today's episode, I wanted to take a second to talk about our sponsor for today's show, HoneyBook, my favorite client management system that I've been using since day one of running my business. And it just got even better with new AI features that are actually making life so much easier. There's a new AI chat feature, which is like having your own personal ChatGPT built right inside of your HoneyBook. You can ask it questions like, what was my most booked service last year? Or can you help me write a follow-up email? And it just gets it. No setup, no learning curve. It already understands your business. And the meeting note taker, now that's a game changer. It's been live for quite a bit, but I only recently started using it. And wow, I wish I had used it sooner. It automatically takes notes during any meeting booked inside of HoneyBook, so I can stay present instead of scrambling to write everything down. Every detail gets saved, organized, and sent to me without me ever having to lift a finger. If you're still handling everything manually, this is your sign to go upgrade. Start your 7-day free trial below by clicking the link in the show notes or description. Trust me, you're gonna love it. Now, let's dive into lighting. Things that maybe I did in the beginning that I don't think I would do again on purpose. So, things I was doing in the beginning as far as lighting that were not quite great. I don't know if this is everyone or if this was just me, but I loved shade. I loved backlit. And honestly, it was only because I was not confident in myself, my settings, and light, and how I was going to use that light. I personally think having shadows, using the sun, these are all wonderful things to use, but you have to understand how to use them. So when I first started in photography, at weddings, I was finding like the shadiest shade spot. I was shooting at blue hour. I was shooting like backlit 24/7. I had no sky. If you looked at any of my work, it was just like white. It was just like blown out sky. Okay, guys, it was not bad because I edited in a way that made it look cool, but it was not the best idea. And I look back on it and it's not because I thought that was the best. I do think in my taste back then, my taste was really moody. So I liked maybe the look of a blown out sky and kind of that backlit photo. But genuinely, most of it was because I was not confident in shooting in sun and how to shoot in maybe direct sun well. So throughout the years, I think you honestly just learn as you go. But if you're listening to this and you're like, oh my gosh, I also prioritize shade and I prioritize, sun not really being on my subjects. Like, let me tell you, use light to your advantage and know how to use it. So I don't know if anyone, I'm going to give this example. If you're watching on YouTube, you'll get to see my hand do it. But I don't know if you've ever seen someone kind of just look at the light with their hand, but it's honestly like such a good hack. Obviously, you can just kind of see where the sun's hitting, but if you take your hand and you rotate around in a circle, you're going to see where the light hits the most evenly on your hand. That, to me, is going to be a great photo. I know some people might not be a fan of like direct sun type of images, but they look so good. Back in the day, I would have had the sub completely behind them, which then makes the photo kind of muddy, puts a lot of shadows on their face, and it's honestly not the best way to shoot the image, in my opinion now. Obviously, art is subjective, and you might like a good backlit image, but if we're talking noon to 3 p.m. and you're shooting portraits and you don't really have any shade available that actually looks good, in my opinion, use the even lighting and embrace it, because even lighting photos are going to look better than some back wall of a venue that has no character and really no like taste or vibe to it. But you go there just because you're nervous and scared of light. Don't do that. Use the even lighting. Find the even lighting and use it. It's going to be gorgeous. Another thing I did was I feel like I always, again, played it safe with making the image just pretty simple and very simple light. Maybe finding an area that, again, was maybe if it was outdoor, maybe it was shaded, very even lighting, nothing too dynamic. Whereas now we just shot in a church in like a Greek Orthodox chapel. It was gorgeous. But what did my eye gravitate towards now? It wasn't, let me find this really even area because it's going to make a very simple, clean portrait. No, my eye went to, let me find like the splotch of light, and I want to put my subjects in it and figure out how to work with that light to create a very dynamic image. And let me tell you, those images, those are scroll stopping, jaw dropping, because it has so much feeling when you're embracing the light that is happening naturally in that environment and not running to maybe some side of the venue that feels safe. So outside of using even light, I want you to use dynamic light. I want you to find maybe where it might look kind of spotlit and embrace the shadows and challenge yourself to edit differently. I want you to find that light that maybe normally would scare you. Or maybe you do like shadows and contrast and you do find things like that naturally. Go you. But I think a lot of photographers, maybe in the more beginning of their careers, or maybe you've been doing it for a long time, they like to play it safe and just get that one, couple clean shots. Anyone can take clean shots. What's going to separate you from someone else in your area or in your market if you're just getting the safe, simple moments? Don't do that. We want to challenge ourselves. Get the dynamic lighting that's happening naturally. Find the shadows. Find the drama and go for it. Okay, outside of even light and dynamic lighting, I also want to say maybe ways that you can play with lighting. So I personally love flash. I know a lot of people don't use flash or they don't like flash, or maybe some people love flash. I love flash. I use a pretty simple flash. I have the Profoto A10, but I'm also about to test the Godox V1. I'll be able to give y'all like a comparison, which will be really fun. But I love flash. I have felt very confident in flash for a very long time. Before I had the Profoto, I shot it flash pretty simply in maybe a more manual mode that totally was not how you're like supposed to shoot flash, but I would set my flash to low-key just a hard strength and a hard power. And then I would just change my camera settings instead of changing my flash settings. Like I just like raise or lower the aperture. It was simple. It got the job done. And to me, manual, like changing your settings, and maybe I wasn't changing the flash setting, but changing my settings in general was superior to TTL. I'm not anti-TTL, but I just don't think it flashes hard enough for my taste. That's my opinion. Now I use the Profoto A10 and still shoot it in manual. I change my flash settings, not my camera settings, because I know the exact settings that I like shooting flash in. So for flash, for me, I'm normally shooting with, like a low ISO, like, 100 or whatever your camera goes to. And then I'm shooting at whatever's best for the flash, but like, depending on how much movement, normally like 1/125 shutter speed to maybe 200. That's like where I feel like my flash looks the best. And then as far as aperture, normally f4 and above, maybe higher. I like a good crispy flash photo. I don't think there's any reason to shoot a flash photo like wide open. And then my flash on the Profoto, you can scroll from like a flash power of 1 out of 10. So I'm just constantly adjusting that. And maybe I need to take multiple photos to get it to look right because I'm not using TTL. But what I do in that scenario, if you're curious, is say someone's like, hey, get a photo of me. I'll just quickly fire a shot while they're like getting ready to smile or getting ready for the photo that they want. And I'll be like, oh yeah, that was a little too bright. And then I'll just lower it down, or that wasn't quite bright enough. That way I'm not making them be a part of the test image. I'm just quickly firing it while they're not even paying attention. Bam, easy, adjust it manually and get the perfect exposure. So I shoot manual flash. But something we've been doing recently that I wanted to talk to all of you about is that we used to bring video lights, like the little cube that you put on the hot shoe of your camera, and I would shoot flash and Jake would shoot with a video light. That way we got both the flash vibe and also the ambient, because to me, when it comes to light, having a dynamic gallery, just like how using the shadows and having dynamic photos, it's really important and can set you apart. I also think having a dynamic gallery as far as the type of light you're using and changing it up throughout the day really makes your story and your wedding photos so much more powerful. And in the scenario of using the video light, I would say more realistic. So when it comes to shooting a wedding day at the end of the night, how people feel is this dark. There's maybe some DJ lights. It's this fun environment that's kind of dark and playful and exciting and not bright and flash and everything's perfect and still. Like, that's just not how the day was and how it felt. So if I'm using flash, normally my second shooter, which as of now is Jake, or third, they're doing something different than me. So Jake used to use a video light that goes on top of his camera. We're not using video lights now, but Godox sent us some lights. They sent, gosh, I don't know, like 4 lights for us just to like use and test and play with and show everyone. And yeah, the I think it's the ML60 2BI, like I think that's what it is. And I really hope that I'm saying this right because I'm literally having a podcast episode where I'm mentioning it. But they sent us the ML60 second edition, so like it looks like 2 eyes. ML60 2BI, meaning what? Anyways, they sent that light, and I'm pretty sure it's that light. And I will link which light it is in the show notes and in the description. That way, if I'm wrong, we can, correct myself. But they sent us that light, and I bought a light stand for it, and we were going to put on a light stand. But they also sent us the attachment for it to go handheld. And Jake low-key went handheld with this light at the wedding, which is a lot stronger than our hot shoe video light. Well, one of our video lights actually was pretty high in wattage. One of them is like 6 watts. It does nothing. It's pointless. Don't know why I bought it. Such a waste of money. But one of ours was actually similar to this video light. But the thing is, when it is on your camera and you're trying to take a photo, if you want to get close with the video light, like the one that goes on the hot shoe, it's so freaking bright. It's so annoying. It totally kills the vibe of the wedding. But with the Godox light being able to go handheld, it literally has a hand grip attachment that he would go and hold it up in the air. It's so much less distracting, and so it's not near as like obtrusive to the day and how it feels. And he's able to shoot ambient light even in dark situations and control so much of it. It's like how people liked going handheld with their flash. He went handheld with the video light and held it up above his head for a lot of the ambient photos, and it looked so good. Outside of that, we used this light handheld for portraits in like a cave of this wedding. And it was like pitch dark in this cave. He did it full strength power, and it was a way for us to low key have professional studio grade lighting basically inside of this cave in the middle of a wedding day within like 5 seconds. So yeah, he just held it full strength while I shot the photos. And I don't know, I'm just a sucker for a good constant light. I do not think that everything needs to be done on flash. Flash is cool, and I love flash. Flash has a very specific vibe that, a more constant light isn't going to look like. But when it comes to how something feels, I am a sucker for not using flash and using some sort of constant light source. But doing that on a wedding day, I felt like was really complicated or just didn't feel right. The video lights, the tiny ones, the little cubes, they just didn't feel how I wanted them to feel, or maybe they weren't bright enough. But this Godox light, we low-key, it's so small. We would just toss it up, hold it, and lit a portrait. And man, it changed the game. I didn't need to use my flash, and flash to me would have made the photo look almost like less expensive, like less high end, because flash in a cave, that doesn't feel right. But having the video light up there, or I guess, would you even call this a video light? Having the light up there, lighting them, illuminated so much more of this cave and gave a more maybe natural but dramatic feeling that I absolutely love. So experiment with lighting. Don't confine yourself to just your camera. Don't confine yourself to just a flash that you're comfortable with. Maybe you get a video light for the hot shoe of your camera. Maybe you buy a light like the Godox light. Maybe you bring in constant lights. I feel like for a lot of my career, we've relied on the video team providing good lighting, but recently we've actually been flying with the Godox lights. That way, if there's not amazing lighting, we can do it ourselves. We don't have to do flash during toast, which doesn't look that good if we're being real. We can throw up a constant light if there's no video team and do it ourselves. And the Godox ones are like so small. They're so easy to pack and travel with. I put mine in a checked bag in the case that it came in, and bam, I didn't even have to carry it onto the plane with me. Just so easy, filled it up so small. And then I got a little light stand that's tiny enough to fit in a checked bag so that I also wouldn't have to haul it through the airport. So we just literally checked everything, got to the next destination. Pro tip, throw in a air tag if you are checking like gear in case it gets lost. You can locate it a lot faster than maybe the airline can. We have so many air tags in there and everything. I have one on my dog, have one in my car just in case car gets stolen. We live in LA. Have one in my purse and my backpack and my Pelican. We have one literally everywhere. Also, one time it did come in handy because we were visiting LA 2 years ago. And this came in handy so much, the air tags, because we had no idea where we were going and we hopped on the wrong bus to go to rental cars. I don't know what bus we hopped on, but it was like going to Ubers instead of rentals, or I don't even know, okay? Don't know, but me and Jake, it was our first time flying in and we just didn't know where we were going and we hopped on, and when we got off the bus, we left one of our camera bags on the bus. How terrifying is that? Literally so scary. So we found it on the Find My devices and we saw that the bus was coming back. So we just waited and prayed that no one stole it or walked off with it. And we waited for the bus to come back and we were able to get the bag back off the bus. So anyways, buy the air tags. They're so worth it if you're a traveling photographer or if you plan to travel in any capacity. And if you don't fly, then I actually do believe you have no reason to not own and know how to operate lights. Think when you add traveling, sometimes it's nice to be a little minimal and try to figure out how to work with the lighting you have with maybe a small video light that goes on your camera. But if you're not flying for weddings, literally, go buy some lights. They're so fun. And I think it's worth it to own constant lighting. Just as much as maybe people that think it's worth it to own off-camera flashes that are triggering. A constant lighting's freaking sick, and it totally just adds to the vibe of the wedding day. So that was my rant on lighting. I'm trying to think about other things that maybe I would have shied away from that now in my career I'm noticing a lot more, and I wanted to add outside of maybe finding the maybe spotlight in a venue or place to get that dynamic shot. I want to add to that portion that on a similar note of that, my eye in today's time that I wish I saw things in this way when I first started, my eye notices shadows so much more. And I think shadows are so beautiful, especially in black and white. And in specific, hopefully I'll go post this wedding so that all of you can know what I'm talking about. But in specific, there was a shot where it was actually one of the people on the planning team. They were holding the bride's veil for her, and the way the sun was hitting through the veil casted shadows on her dress. And I got a detail shot of she was just standing there, of the shadows of the veil with the dress. And it is freaking gorgeous. That's something, if that was me, I would find a way to print that and put it in some sort of collage or in an album, because it's such a good, just minimal shot to break up maybe portraits or anything like that, or even put it on a wall. I would literally frame that photo. I love that photo. So notice shadows, look for shadows and find them because they're so pretty. And I mean, as photographers, we are literally capturing light. So don't limit yourself to the kind of light that you're willing to capture. Experiment, try new things. Maybe you don't experiment on a wedding day, but go take a friend out and experiment, just on a random Tuesday. Take your friend, go try and shoot some photos, challenge yourself. Maybe you're shooting flash during daylight. Maybe you're experimenting with finding that even, midday, the sun, and how you're going to shoot with that. That way, when you're facing a scenario like I was, you know exactly what you want to do. You want to shoot with the sun on them, or maybe you want to shoot with it behind them. Whatever you want to do, go challenge yourself to go try new things and get yourself uncomfortable with different lighting, and challenge your eye to look at light in new ways, because I swear it will change your galleries so much and you will love them so much more, and your clients will too, because it's going to be so dramatic, so beautiful, and way more dynamic than maybe what you were used to, or at least in my scenario. I feel like that's what's changed in my photography as I've grown as a photographer. I went from easy, simple photos that were very safe to playing with light and having fun with it and challenging myself to get creative with it and using it to my advantage, not just getting a simple, safe photo. So I hope this was encouraging. I hope this maybe inspires you to try new things. Maybe you want to get, a light like the Godox light. Maybe you want to buy a new flash. Maybe you want to challenge yourself to shoot with more direct light, or maybe shoot with flash and direct sunlight. Whatever you want to do, I would love to know how you are challenging yourself. So feel free to DM me. Feel free to send me some photos if this inspired you to take any sort of new type of image. And yeah, just feel free to connect. So I cannot wait to catch you guys next week. But in the meantime, happy creating, have such a good time, and I will see you all soon. Bye, everyone.